If you're like me and you want to take your golf content to the next level without investing in a paid app like Shot Tracer Pro, today I'm going to show you the free method that I've been using to make all of my tracers, and they look pretty good. This is a TikTok video I made today, and I'm going to walk you through how I came up with these tracers. I am, well, mostly an indoor golfer, but sometimes I go outside. I got to show off different tech that I review on this channel. I do golf simulator reviews, but paying for a yearly subscription just doesn't really make sense for me right now. So there's two things you're going to need to make these tracers. CapCut Desktop software. It is an editing software. It's free. There is a paid version with some great AI tools. This is a really user-friendly, easy to follow software. DaVinci Resolve is a lot more in-depth, a lot more features and things going on. This is much easier. And the second thing you need is a high quality video of you hitting a golf shot, preferably 4K, 30 FPS, 60 FPS would be great, but we're just going to use 30. And really this works best if you're using a tripod. Moving cameras, it's a manual tracer, so it's not going to be the best. But if you have the ability to film on a tripod, this is going to be perfect for you. Okay, so this is CapCut right here, nice and simple. If it was a new project, you would just see a blank slate like this. You can import your media up at the top. I'm going to try and give you as much detail as I can, tell you what keys I'm pressing, what buttons all over CapCut. You should be able to follow this step by step and build these really easy tracers. So this is what it would look like if you opened up a new project and I imported my media already. Just click the import button, find the clips that you're wanting to work with, the swings, whatever, and you can just click the little add button or drag them onto the timeline to start. So I already did a few cuts and I'll explain some of those at the end, a little bit more in detail, but just leave your raw video up wherever you're at. No need to make any cuts to it. All of these yellow bars are going to be my tracers that I currently have. And if we watch those back real quick, you can see the ones I already make. Very simple, very easy to do. They're not going to be, you know, the professional ones, but all things considered, I think they're pretty good for a completely free option. So we've got one more to make here. I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. So I got my clip where I'm going to be making a swing. No tracer as of right now. And basically it's this simple, and I'll show you how to edit it up afterwards. But I like to use these stickers. You can use any other images if you wanted to import an image. I just search circle, and I've used a few of these. Some of these graphics move, like animation, and some of them don't move at all. Let's see which one I chose earlier today. So I'm using this one for the first time. It does technically spin, but when it's really small, don't worry about it. You can resize once you have your sticker selected, or your clip. You can make changes to it, the video, audio, speed, animation, blah blah blah. So we're going to use our sticker here. I'm going to make it really small, like 12 is what I've been going with, 12% scale. Now, this is where you're working on your timeline. We can make this slightly larger if we just drag this down, easier to work with. And then on top of that, if you hold down Control and use your scroll wheel, or you have a magnifying glass here, you can just zoom in. All right. So I'm going to bring this ball, and I can just use my scroll wheel to scroll down to the ball. We actually have to find the ball here on the timeline. So we're going to take it down to right before impact. Really important here, arrow keys. Left and right arrow keys will help you go between frames. So I'm going forward with the right arrow keys and then backwards with the left arrow keys. Okay, so what I want to do is start my tracer pretty much at impact here. So I'm going to put this right around my ball. And this is really useful. I also use these arrows on here to make micro adjustments to the positioning. You can go left and right, up and down, but I just want to get this pretty much right in the center. I'm going to come down to my timeline and zoom in by holding down Control and then scrolling so that I can get this right at my impact position. I want the first frame of my tracer to start right before impact. So it's set up right here. You can zoom in as far as you want to, but it doesn't really matter because we're just going to use our arrow keys to work one frame at a time. I'm kind of speaking in detail here, but it's definitely going to move a lot quicker. Okay, So now that I got my tracer selected, we're going to use keyframes. All right. I like to just click this one up at the top, and it's just going to select all of these keyframes. And now basically we can work frame by frame. I'll hit the right arrow and we'll go to the next keyframe. Again, I can scroll with just the scroll wheel to see different parts of the video. And then I can hold down Control if I want to zoom out. Now, since we've already hit our keyframe up here to add a keyframe, we don't need to do that every single time we go to another frame. But essentially, you're going to move in the second frame, pull this up, and put it right over the ball again. And then we'll move to our next frame. You can scroll up, and you won't have to do as much scrolling as you move through the video because the ball will become smaller and not move super far. I can use these arrows, like I said, to make micro adjustments if I want it to be really close. Okay, but now basically, let's see if I just zoom out slightly. You got my first frame on the ball. It's moving. It's basically tracking the ball. All right, I'll zoom back in, come up, use my arrow keys on my keyboard. I can skip a couple of frames, and this is what's really cool about keyframes. So I'll get that right in the center, and then I can go back to a previous frame, and it's basically just going to bridge the gap from here to here. All right, so if it moved in a straight line, this is where the red circle should be. But since it's not right there covering the ball, so I'll just move it right on top of the ball. All right, and then we'll continue on. Scrolling on up. Sometimes I'll do a couple at a time. All right. Go back down to this one and fix it. You can get it as good as you want it to, or you can just leave it really close and it'll still look pretty good. So now sometimes I just go back and check my work. All right. Pretty good. I like to do 2 at a time when I can, and then just go back and fix. And as we get higher up and the ball gets smaller, it's easier in some aspects and more difficult in other aspects. So just use my arrow keys to navigate. I'll go 3 frames this time. And then I'll just come in and kind of check my work. If you hit a pretty straight shot, it's much easier as well. And once you get really high up, it also becomes much easier because you can pretty much just use these arrows the entire way. It gets harder to drag it. Go back down, check my work. This one looks pretty good. Yeah, these look good. And you can see down here that I have a keyframe every single frame. I skipped this one. So again, you don't have to fill these in, but it will just look smoother if you do go frame by frame. For the most part, especially once the ball gets further, it will track it pretty good if you skip some frames. So you don't have to worry too much. But it's just about how accurate you really want it. And then this, of course, this last ball flight, I happen to hit the highest. So it's going to disappear off the screen. But it's fine. We'll go as high as we can go. Follow it all the way up. And then it disappears because the video is done. Anyways, so then I can either zoom out on my timeline and just finish this tracer up so that it disappears. You can also use Control B to split your video or sticker and then just delete that other segment of it. And basically, that's it. I like to watch it back. Sometimes just go frame by frame to see if anything looks out of place. But no, we tracked it pretty good there. So this one disappears off the screen. Basically, you want as clear a video as possible, and you want, something on a tripod for the best results with this method, because we're not using like an AI or a coded tracker. We're manually inputting this. So if your camera was moving, it might be a lot harder to follow it. Shoot in 4K if you can, so you can follow the ball as far as possible. But typically I can get pretty close, like midway as the ball is coming down, and then sometimes you just have to guess all the way to the ground if you like to do that. But otherwise, sometimes you can zoom way in and you can even see a ball landing on the green if you have a really good camera that you're working with. One more thing that I like to do, and you can click anywhere on your timeline kind of in between your sticker, hit the down arrow on your keyboard, and then I like to hit transform one more time, and then we're going to reduce the scale. I'm going from 12 to 8 in this instance, and that's going to make the tracer smaller over time. So you can see as we go along these points backwards, you can see the scale of it changing. So it's a gradual change from 12 all the way to 8, so that the tracer can start nice and big, and then it can get smaller as we go on. You can go even further. You can even go down to 4. And you'll see how this tracer just gets much smaller. That actually looks pretty good. So maybe I'll go to all of these tracers and take these down to 5. Oop. Gotta make sure that you're at the end of your sticker, because if you change it in the middle, let's say, for example, I change it on this keyframe, what's going to happen is your tracer is going to get smaller, but then as you get to the middle of your video where you changed it, it's going to start getting bigger again. So not ideal. And I believe that's it. Yeah, that actually looks a little bit nicer. Tracer just gets smaller as we go. So now you want to edit up your video. That's it for the tracer, by the way. So how do you edit this further? Basically, you load in all your clips, make all your tracers. You can highlight everything together, right click, create compound clip. Now everything is just one clip. That way our stickers can't move, our tracers can't move. I can chop up this video any which way, and it's not going to affect the other tracers. So we have one clip with all of our tracers now. Let's say I want to cut this video here. I'll just hit Control B, which is split. There's also other tools up here, like you can hit split up here if you'd like to do it that way, but Control B is how you split. And, I can just cut this one up if I wanted to cut it a little bit short. And then this tracer will cut short. When you're all done with your video, you can just come up to the top right, export, and yeah, name it whatever you want. I filmed in 4K, I'll export in 4K. If you want really high quality, a good bit rate, you can come in here and do higher, or you can do custom and make this 40,000 kilobyte per second. That's a pretty big video for a 23-second long video. You can automatically share it to TikTok or YouTube from CapCut. You can just open up the folder if you'd like. I got my video right here. And that's it. Like, super, super simple. If you're someone like me who's not looking to invest in shot tracer apps because you don't play a ton outside, or I don't know, you're just cheap or whatever, you just want to keep things on a budget, this is a great way to do it. This is the editing software I use for all my videos on my channel. And it's one of the simpler ones out there. Got a lot of great features to it. So hopefully this helps. Let me know what you think of this method. I really like it. I don't do a whole lot of editing videos, but if there's something else you want to see, let me know and I'll see if I can bring that to you. Thank you so much. See you next time.